I mean, even having grown up in Germany, constantly comparing the eastern half, the western half, we have seen in practical terms of how a nation develops that is blessing Israel, that stands with Israel and that verbalizes it, and a nation that does not stand with Israel, that denies the value of our Jewish roots, and that goes into ally with those and into alliances with those who oppose Israel. And I think that we as Christians have responsibility again, just like Daniel stood in for his nation, just like Nehemiah stood in for his nation before God, so God would restore the nation. We also have a responsibility and opportunity to line up with God in intercession for our nation, also for political decisions that are being made. And I think that goes all the way from, I always love when different nations and nationalities come together, bless each other, even at the level of city partnerships. And I've seen it many times in my city and in other cities, what a blessing it is when you have just a very simple political municipal platform of a city partnership, and you sign a partnership agreement, and then there are people from Israel coming to get to know Germany, and people from Germany getting to know Israel, and relationships are being built, and that shapes how people think about each other. And I think that also translates to the highest level of political decisions. And I want to be part of a nation that stands with Israel. That's what it comes down to. That may have many implications, how it's going to look like, but there's a place for many people, for different nationalities in Israel, as God makes reference to many times in the Bible. But I want my leaders and my nation to be standing with Israel as a nation, period. And then we can talk about all the how to go about this, how to do that, how to build the relationships, and what can be adjusted and what can be negotiated. But I think that in itself is what we should be praying for our nations as a starting point. And it's an important role, because we have that understanding from the Bible of where God is going with the nations, and that He will judge the nations according to their standing with Israel. And we know that there's a huge discussion and battle going on in the media, how Israel is portrayed and how facts are distorted. But that's why it's so important that we get fresh, good information coming out of Israel, and that we always align it back to God's promises for His people. And we can discuss and like and dislike Israel and politics and politicians up and down, but at the end of the day, the Messiah will return to Jerusalem, and God will be a wall around Israel, and Israel, once replanted into their country, will not be uprooted. And better we line up with God now on His plans than finding out we were on the wrong side for the longest time and are losing out on what God wants to do through our nations. So I think it's a huge task and responsibility for us to intercede for our nations, to make wise decisions, and to stand with Israel and to be a blessing for that nation.
Alpha,